Okay, we are live. Hi, welcome. So, I'm going to be talking today about websites. We're going to be talking about a little bit about card as an option, CARRD. We're going to be talking about Squarespace a little bit. I'm also talking about how your website ties into what you do on social media, most effective ways to make that happen. And we are going to talk about selling, what's holding you back, what's the problem. And this is a total Q&A. So if any of those topics you've got a question about, or you're like, what? Just pop the questions. I've got Instagram here. I'm looking there, but down here I've got everybody else. So I'll be up and down a little bit, guys. But jump in the chat, say hi, and I've got stuff. I will just start talking, and anything that comes up, please question. This is a true Q&A, but I'm going to be just doing some work here on the backside, sharing this to the people so that people can find it, tune in the DMs, you know what I mean? So let me do that real quick. All right, there we go. And yeah, I'm wearing this hat because the humidity is a little bit insane where I'm at right now. I'm in New England, so it's pretty hot when I'm not used to it. I am going to the river immediately after this. All right, so that looks okay. Whoops, mute that. You don't need that going. All right. So everything looks like it's working. I can see the chat from wherever you are, and pop your questions in, and I'll get to those. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was how your website should be where your main, think of it as your essential hub. That's like the phrase I'm using this week for it, because you want to have a place that people can connect to you from wherever they're following you on social media. It could be Instagram. It could be your main audience is on YouTube. It could be your main audience is an email list. It could be your main audience has been on Facebook, or you have a Facebook group or something. There's so many places people are, and it's hard to connect them all. So you have to think of your website as that place where it connects them all, and also helps you be found. Because I talk about this a lot. Social media in general is the worst search engine. I don't care what platform we're talking about. And I hope the volume is good and everyone can hear me. So if you can't hear me, let me know. You try and search, like if you have something specific you're thinking about, like a post that someone did that you saw, and then you forget to bookmark it, or you do bookmark it, but it's in the pit of despair that is bookmarks that you can never find again, and you want to search for it. I don't know if you've tried to do that, but it's next to impossible. I don't even care what platform you're on. So what do people do when they can't find something, right? They go to Google. This is still where people go. So what are they going to find on Google? They may find the post, but more importantly, we want them to find your website. And then guess what's on your website? The information they're looking for. This is how it all ties together. So what should your website have at the very bare minimum? And I talk about this because I want it to be something that is approachable to anybody. And please, anyone jumping in, drop your questions in the chat. I will ramble for an hour, or you can interrupt me with a question. I will go either way with this. It's completely up to you. So when we talk about an essential hub, what's on that website? And I wrote an article. I'm putting it on my website soon for everybody. It's currently only on X. They have this really good articles feature that I've been using. So it's currently only there, but I will be having it on my website, and we'll be linking to that wherever you're watching. I'll eventually have that there too. So you can kind of go into depth on this, but take out your pen and paper if you want. So the bare essentials. What do you need on your website? Like if you have nothing, if you have a link tree, this is for you. Okay. This is what you need to have on there. You need to have an about me. And I have a video I dropped on YouTube that will tell you how to write your about. And it's very simple, and I make it easy for you, and you get that accomplished, because a lot of people struggle with that. Basically, it is you want to tell people what you are doing for them, not about you. You know, you say a little bit about you, but it's mostly what you do for whoever's reading it. What are you doing for them? So that's what the about mainly should be. Kind of like your social media bio. You know, if you're a business or you're trying to sell something or you're a content creator, you're not necessarily talking about your general hobbies or what you're up to. You're talking about what you do for other people because you've got those short little few spaces to put the information. So the about section is a bigger version of that. And let me make sure. Okay, I'm going to be keeping a closer eye on the questions here. If the chat, anyone pops in, wherever you are, drop them in. Say hi. Say hi. Why not say hi to me? I'm here sweating like crazy, and I'm going to be jumping in the river soon. So I'm doing this for you. Give me a little feedback. Anyway, all right. So the about, you want to have the about, just a little about you. Let's just get to know you a little bit. And then a contact form. You want to have a contact form. I recommend this because having just your email address isn't really the best approach to this. Having a contact form where you can filter out spam, it does it for you. A lot of these contact forms will filter out spam and also doesn't necessarily give the entire world your email address. It's probably still out there somehow, they can find it, but it's more about like, okay, this person can contact me. I have their information. They have a question or something they're trying to reach out to me about. Having that contact form is just a professional way to offer that. And then on the other side of that is you want to start collecting a way to collect emails right away. Whatever website you have, if you're not collecting emails from the beginning, or if you have a website and you're not doing that, I highly recommend you start immediately because everyone's email list starts at 0. We all start at 0, and you want to just start. So you put in a way for people to sign up. You don't even have to have a newsletter. You don't even have to have anything to share. You just start collecting emails. And as that grows, you can start thinking about, oh, what do I want to share with these people? Like my email list is pretty small, but I sent out an email saying, hey, I'm live. I'm going live. Join me. Come in, ask your questions, or just listen, tune in, and we'll talk, and that's all that was in that email, a little bit about that. So it doesn't have to get more complicated than that, but you can't send that email if you don't start collecting them. Okay. So you want that on your website for sure. And please jump in the chat if you've jumped on, add your questions. I'm happy to answer about anything. Try me. Okay. Then we have the offer. You want to have an offer. Offer something for someone who's interested in whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, whatever whatever your about me says. Give them something to take advantage of, to use, to utilize, to buy, anything. And you don't even have to overthink this. You could develop up an ebook on whatever your topic or expertise or skill is and make that available for people to download for free. Or you could even make it something that they have to buy. Or you could create a course. That's an offer. Hey, take my course. It could be a free course. It could be a paid course. It could be something more like a masterclass that is more advanced. Or you could sell something. You could sell a physical product. You could have your official hoodie for sale, your official t-shirt for sale, some sort of offer. And I have my iced coffee. Have to bring the internal temp down. Oh, we've got Brett in the chat. Hi. I'm going to pull him up. Thanks for joining. Hope it is pleasant where you are. I'm ready to jump in the ice bath. And okay, I need another sip. So these 4 things that I talk about page, about section, about me, about you, a contact form, a way to get in touch. I want to get in touch with you. How do I get in touch with you? I don't think putting your email on a website's enough. I think you need a contact form. For me, when I click on someone's email on my laptop, Apple Mail opens, and I hate Apple Mail. So it's annoying to me, and I don't follow through ever. Sometimes I maybe copy and paste into my Gmail. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know why it does that. I don't know how to fix it, and I don't really care that much about fixing it. So this is just my mentality as I'm cruising the internet, right? And I don't know if I'm different than other people or not, but why not a contact form? Anybody, no matter what they're on, a phone, tablet, laptop, whatever they're doing, they can fill that out and submit. So about page, contact form, a way to collect emails, and an offer. Offer something, anything. Get those 4 things on your website if you have nothing. This will get you started. And then once you have that, you can start to envision where it can go from there. And I built a template. I shared it. And I am going to have this on my website very soon. It's going to be actually a free course that anyone can take. And, I didn't get it done today, so I don't have it to say here. But it is a video on YouTube. You can watch the YouTube video on my channel, and you can get into it on your own time without an actual formal course. So you just go to my YouTube channel. It's there. And all the links and everything you need. So, yeah, Brett says it's super hot and humid here. Okay, I'm feeling you, and I'm with you. And my hair is doing something that isn't recognizable by the human species, so that's why I have the hat. Usually that's why I'm wearing a hat, if you see me in a hat. I generally don't like hats unless it's really hot out in the sun. But, sometimes it's like I just don't want to be offensive to people. All right, so yes, the template I was talking about. I built a template in Card, and I'm going to talk about Card, C-A-R-R-D, a little bit, because I love that for people who have nothing. They maybe have just a link in bio going somewhere else. And I love, or no link in bio, I don't know. I just love Card because it's so affordable and it's such a intuitive, easy program to learn. It does have a learning curve. It's not you just open it up and understand exactly what's going on. You do need a little bit of a learning curve, but this is why I made the template in the video to hopefully make it easier. And you can follow along step by step in my video. So, we've got a question. Let's see what Venatio has to say. How often do you wish you could code and or contract a coder for this stuff? And are you able to get along with these tools completely independently? So knowing a little bit of code is very powerful in these apps, like in Card and stuff, being able to write CSS. Yeah, CSS, for example. I do that all the time. Or understanding, because in Card, C-A-R-D, especially, they have a lot of features where if you know a little bit of HTML or CSS, you can really do a lot of amazing customizations. And Squarespace is the same way too with CSS. You can get in there and really get after it if you want to make the sites. So that's my hacky way of doing things, because I don't want to write all that HTML and JavaScript and all this stuff. And then other people have done, and you can add JavaScript code too. I didn't mention that, but you can. So you kind of add these on as you need them. And that's just my hack way of doing things. And I think that's like an approachable way for like regular people to get into it a little bit. But if you know this stuff already, it's very powerful. You can get into it. Yeah, and it's just like Wix. Yeah, Wix is just another example of all this. So in Wix, you can go in and add your custom code. They all have that capability for the most part. There's a few that I find, like I've worked with a lot of specialized photographer-centric website builders, and generally those don't give you that ability. like those very specialized website template builders don't necessarily, but pretty much all the major ones that encourage basically anyone to build a website, they do allow code embedding of some kind. Sometimes it's an additional thing you have to pay for those features. But yeah, that's why I love this stuff so much. It's like I get a good template kind of out of the box, and then I can, design with the tools that they have available. And then I can just add my custom code, my widgets. There's a lot of widgets I use because, yeah, I'm not a real coder, but I understand how CSS works and how I can apply someone else who's brilliant's JavaScript code and things like that. So yeah, it works great. I find it works pretty good. The only downside is those things can break your site if you don't know what you're doing. So it's definitely, if you don't know what I'm talking about, learning about it or hiring someone to do that for you if they're looking for features. Like, for example, one of the things that I do in my Squarespace sites a lot is have a pop-up light box. And that's a feature that they do have on some things in Squarespace, but not on everything. And sometimes you want a pop-up light box that on something that isn't provided in the template itself. So with some add-on JavaScript code, you can do that. So, that's just an example of something that I do a lot. And yeah, and I've used Wix before, and a lot of people use Wix, but it's just too much of a nightmare for me. It's when you want to get into those customizations, especially, it's just unreal. All right, so that was a great question, because people do ask me a lot about like the coding aspect, but I'm trying to keep it like pretty light and approachable, so that people can kind of like have something really good without having to know how to code. But you can take it like to a whole nother level with a little bit of code for sure. And Card is really cool with it. You can do a lot of cool things even with what's built in there. It's kind of fun to just play around in there because it's so easy to use. So I talked about the essentials for the website, and I built that card template, and that video is on my YouTube channel. It's going to be on my website soon. And anyone who's jumped in, looks like we might have a few more people who jumped in. If you have a question about anything, give it a try. See if I can answer it. I will try and help. So let's see, lost track of my thought. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to get back to my cheat sheet here. Stop trying to wing it. And so with the card template, I will have it's already available on my YouTube. I said that 5 times. Sorry. You can go there and get it and watch the video tutorial. I walk you through everything. But how do we tie everything that we're doing on the website to our social media, where we're trying to build a following as well? And I think these things hold hands together pretty well. I think that thinking of those two things as two different things is where kind of people are missing the opportunity. I think that they go together quite well. And if you are working hard on building a social media following, I think at the same time, and I didn't necessarily do this as well as I wanted to, so I'm not the shining example. I'm trying here. But if you make an intention as like, okay, I'm going to start going after social media a little bit, I'm going to somehow incorporate that as my website as a companion piece to that. So anyone who visits my social media, if they happen to click on my website, they're taken somewhere that they like feel comfortable, they understand what's going on in there, they can find what they're looking for, they can maybe get to know some more things about me that maybe they didn't see on a post that, you think you post something and then it's gone. On your website, something that's really important to you, you can put it up there and it can live there and people can find it much easier all the time. So they can kind of really hold hands, I think, and be BFFs, is basically what I'm trying to say. And when you tie those things together, now it's easier to get people to sign up for your email list. And the importance of an email list cannot be understated, because we all know somebody. I know people personally that have had their social medias hacked and they're gone forever. And you can't get it back and you have to start from scratch. So would you rather start from scratch with nobody's even email address, or would you like to be able to send out an email to 5,000 people and being like, look, my social media is gone. I don't know what to do, and here's my new account, or whatever. So again, something to do from the beginning. And if you haven't done it, that's okay, but think about it. It's never too soon to do it. The worst case scenario, no one sees it. And then what? It doesn't matter because no one saw it. So just do it, put it up there. And then the best case scenario is someone finds it. And guess what? No one's going to find it if it's not there and it doesn't exist. Okay. So tell me with the losing end of doing it. I can't figure it out. And even on the accounts that clients I work with that have very established social media followings, once their website's up, once their website's established and it has all the things on it, it takes about 6 months or so to be established in search results and stuff. But once that 6 months kind of ticks by, and we're now realized by Google that we're a resource and an authority on whatever, this person's name, this brand name, then almost in all cases, it's about half the traffic, half the people come from social media, and then half comes from Google search. Even for someone that has an established social media account, that's where before the website, 100% of their audience was coming from. So make that make sense, make that make sense. If anyone here has jumped in kind of in the midstream here, please feel free to throw your questions in. Anything, try me. Give me a curveball. I'd love to be thrown off. Websites. I'm talking about Carrd, CARRD, Carrd. Squarespace. These are the two that I kind of use a lot. I know about others, but these are the two I use a lot, and I can talk about why. I'm tying that all into your social media. How does that connect? How does that make sense? If you have nothing, what should I do? And selling. What's stopping you from selling? We're going to get into selling in a minute. It's a big topic, but what's stopping you from selling something? What's stopping you from making money off of what you're doing? So we'll figure that out in a minute. I want to talk about a little bit more about the idea of your website being the central hub for everything you do. And I might be repeating things, but I know people jump in and jump out. So if I'm repeating, just interrupt me in the chat. Like I don't take things personally like that. Like I'm here because I want to help you guys. And if my rambling about a certain thing isn't helping, just, shut me down. So we want to connect all of our channels, and people think that, oh, your social media, that's how people find you. And it's true, but mostly people find you from search, and guess where else they find you from? IRL, in real life. I've made business cards. If you follow me, you might know about this, that have my social media stuff on them. And I've given them out and people follow me in real life. I mean, that is so cool. And my website's part of that, because a lot of people I meet in person, they're just like, yeah, I'm kind of on Facebook, not really, or whatever. But it's like, here's my card. It's got my website on it and my email. If you're more comfortable with that, if you're an older person, you're not a social media person. And that way they can. But if they are on Instagram and they're just kind of one of these lurkers out there, they can follow me on Instagram or wherever they want to follow me. So that's why I also, one of your channels that your website connects is also the real world. And a lot of people, just regular people that you might meet at a networking event even, or at a conference, going to a conference that's in your niche or whatever. What an amazing way to meet people. But not everybody's going to be on X. Not everybody that you meet is going to be on Instagram or using it all the time, or on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. So having that available to be easy to, I can just go to your website and sign up for your email list. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. There's going to be a lot of people that just want to do that. And if you connect with them that way in person, phenomenal, right? Why not? Why not think of that as another part of your way of attracting people and bringing them in? And it doesn't even have to be as something as elaborate as like, a networking event or a convention, or even hosting an in-person event of some kind. It can just be like, I'm out in the world. It happens to me a lot. I got my camera, I got a tripod. I look like I know what I'm doing. So people approach me all the time, ask me, hey, what camera are you using? Or what are you up to? What's going on? Beautiful, right? Great place. And it's a fantastic way to connect and get new social media follows, or if they're on social media, or just somehow share, hey, this is what I do, get a new client. I don't know. Like, you never know where a relationship will go. So I'm more like, hey, it's not just one social media platform. It's all these parts coming together, and having a website which everyone on the earth understands and can visit. You don't need a special app to download to get on there. It doesn't matter what phone you have. It doesn't matter what version of the operating system you have. It's like we all can do it. It's like very egalitarian way of sharing what you do, opening it up to everybody. All right. I've got some new people that joined in. Welcome. And please, and we got Colleen giving me some clapping hands. Thank you. I can just talk. So please, if you have any questions about anything I'm talking about, or if it's unrelated, I'm happy to try and answer it too. I can talk about anything, and it's not necessarily a good thing. But the topics today is your website. Do you have one? Are you building one? Do you want one? Do you need to improve the one you have? Website platforms that I use, but I use all different ones. I know a little bit about all of them. I use Carrd, Carrd, and Squarespace are two that I do know most about at the moment. And then talking about how that's tying that all into your website, and social media, how that connects. And then I was talking a little bit about in the real world out there in the wild. Never know, right? And the next thing I want to get into is selling online, because it's very intimidating subject, and it's also very, it's a wealth of information in there, and there's so many moving parts, so many things going on, that it can be overwhelming. And even to me, to this day, there's things going on that I get confused about. And a lot of it has to do with local regulations and things like that. But some of it is just these platforms that we use, or people say, hey, use this. I use this. It's awesome. You try. And trying new apps and new features to try and sell something. And it can cause a lot of confusion and roadblocks, not just for you to put yourself out there and try and have something for your clients or customers to buy, or your followers, your audience, or whatever, wherever you are in this. It creates confusion for them too. If you don't understand what's going on, it's going to translate as confusion for your customers as well. So it's really a good idea to have an understanding and clarity in what you're selling. And maybe you have no idea what you want to sell. And Colleen has a good question. I just looked down and saw Colleen's question here. I'm going to bring that up. So thoughts on stickers as business cards. I think that's a good idea. I have thought about that because, that's something that the thing is with a business card or anything that you give to people in person, you want to make them feel like, oh, I can't throw this away. And that's a psychological thing. So this is fun. I like getting into this. So a sticker is hard to throw away. We want to just hold on to it. It's like, oh, I can't throw this away. This is a sticker. So I love that idea. I love that idea. And if it fits like your vibe and what you do and what you like, and you can put stickers around you on your backdrop or on your coffee mug, and I'm acting like this is hot. It's not. It's iced coffee. It's incredibly hot inside this apartment right now. So I love the sticker idea. I went on the business card route because it's what you like. I like business cards. I'm not a sticker person, but there's people, if that's your thing, if you have a one of those water bottles covered in stickers and that's your do stickers because that's what you like. But me, I'm a business card person because I don't know, I'm just like such a boring, like traditional person, so it just fits me perfectly. And all right, so that was a great question. Yeah. Do what makes sense for you when it comes to kind of like in-person promotional things. Don't break the bank, but because there's no reason to, but you want to make it nice so that people they don't want to throw it away. Like they feel bad about throwing it away. So people do that often with like postcard size things because it's harder to throw away a postcard size thing that has a little weight to it. Just psychologically, we don't really think about this, but we're more likely to keep that around for longer than like a really flimsy, cheap business card that's just easier to toss. Yeah. So, okay, I was going to talk about selling a little bit. So, another thing about having the in-person materials to just give to people when you meet them, having a QR code on there is also a really good idea. I didn't do that because I figured I think that's kind of like, I don't know, the phone will be able to figure it all out, I think soon, just by looking at a website. But QR code's another idea, so people can just pick their phones up and now it takes them to whatever page you want them to follow you on. If it's Instagram or X or wherever, YouTube channel, it takes them right there and they can subscribe right in front of you, so that's cool. And this ties into selling because why do you want people to go to your website? Why do you want them to follow you on social media? What's the goal here? Is it to get monetized on social media and just make an income off of the ad rolls? To me, that's not sustainable. It can be one of the taps. Like we think of like all these taps around us. And one of the taps is that monetization on social media. And that can happen, but it's one month can be really good, another month can be bad. And now you're not necessarily in control of that. It's more now where the algorithm is what's controlling that for us. And that can be scary. Relying on the algorithm for your paycheck. So I like to have a few things cooking and ideas of ways to make money in addition to that. And you just pick one and put some energy, put some time, put some effort into it and put it on your website, have it available for people, talk about it, show it, share it, and have it there. And then once that's established, go on and work on another thing. And it could be something as simple as a t-shirt with your logo on it or your catchphrase on it that people always say that you do. Or it could be something like selling consults. If you're an expert at something, your professional capacity, you have a skill set that people will want to pick your brain about, you can monetize that. You know, a lot of people think that they can't do that because of whatever reason they can't do that. But why not? If you are at a certain level in your career or expertise, or you're selling in some way, I think almost anyone can do that in a way. And you should be charging what's your fair rate for that. Doing that for free, for sure, as a way to get clients. But I think that having that as a way to monetize is an excellent idea. Excellent idea. So that's just another tap. We're opening another tap, way for our website to make us money, in addition to whatever we use on social media as a way to grow what we're doing. Okay. So you could do that. You could have a course of some kind. You could make a course. You could write an ebook and potentially sell that. You can have a newsletter. A real trend right now that's kind of up and coming is to have a subscriber paid newsletter. So that's definitely a premium feature that you'd want to have, something that you can talk about and share really a lot of information about, you know, on a regular basis, so that you know that these people who are paying you for this information or these updates, this content in their email inbox, are going to be satisfied. So, you know, that's important too. You can do live events. So another thing that I see a lot is a live video event that you host, and people have to buy tickets to get in. You could do that. It's all possible. This stuff is so open and available to everyone. It's not just people with huge followings that are able to do this. If you have an expertise in something and you have the ability to put yourself out there and market yourself and are comfortable with that, you can like really come up with some ideas, but focus at the same time. So if one that's like, oh, this speaks to me, this makes sense, go after it and deliver it complete, and then move on to the next thing. But a live stream event that people have to buy tickets to, or a members only content. So additional members only content or subscriber only content, people that pay for that extra. That's another way of bringing in a little money. And then, of course, if people want to just donate, there's lots of people out there who are just like, oh, I just want a reason to give you money, and just make it easy for them to do that. Some people like to do that. I don't know. It's very interesting internet, isn't it? All right. So anyone has any questions, pop them in. I'm going to just take some of my iced coffee here, hopefully bring down the internal temp a few degrees. Love it. Love it. So when we're trying to come up with ideas for selling online, then now we have an idea, we come together, we complete something. Then what do you do with it? How do you sell it? Where do you go? And there's lots of really great tools out there, the third-party tools that you can attach to something like the card website I built that I'm sharing with everybody for free. It's on my YouTube channel. You just can tie in with these third-party platforms. So like a good example would be for selling digital products. Gumroad is a very popular way to sell digital products. And if you are this is for people who are just starting out and you have nothing and you want to start offering and selling something, this is a fantastic way to do that. So you can create an ebook, you can create a mini course, you can create a series, whatever, and you can sell it through Gumroad. And you just create a button on your website, write a little bit about what they get, have the button go, and then they can buy it, and then they get access to whatever it is that digital is. And you don't really have to deal with those other things that come up. You kind of just eventually get paid and watch that trickle in. If you're doing a service where you're doing like phone consults, that's more your time. So you want to make sure that you're valuing your time, of course. And then there's the idea of using third-party platforms to sell a physical product. Now, if you're thinking about selling physical products and you want to sell a lot, then you would want to think about creating an online store. And your card website is not what you want to use. If you want to create an online store with lots of items, sell lots of things, like you're selling merch, selling t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, water bottles, mugs, all this stuff. And then you also want to sell, I want to sell some digital downloads and I want to sell a course. So I'm projecting here. This is me, I'm trying to do everything. And I really should focus. I should take my own advice. But, this is the way we are humans. And if you're in that route, don't even bother with a card site unless this is something that's going to take you a long time. If it's going to be 6 months, year down the road, think about just building a card website so you have something, and then you can build the full-on store and website with everything that you're going to be selling on there, because card doesn't have e-commerce in it. So you have to use a third party. And then this is where things can get a little bit like wild and out of control. So I don't recommend selling more than one or two things on a card website. Or if you sell one thing or two things, you kind of can do drops, and just do like, okay, this is the drop for today. Then in 2 months, we'll have another drop, limited. You could do something like that. But if you want to have a full-on store with all the different things, you're going to want to think about either using a site like Shopify is really great for e-commerce, or a site like Squarespace, which is also adding some amazing e-commerce tools. And that's who I'm using for my website. And I'm not affiliated with Squarespace, but I'm just saying that's what I use for my website. And they have all these tools built in. So I can start building my online store. I don't necessarily have to have it available for everybody. I can start building it and getting things ready. And then when it's ready, I can put it out. And it's very easy in that way. I'm not having to do everything at once, and it takes me a year, and then I put it out and then hope people come. Building as we go, slowly, methodically, with intention, thinking like, okay, this is what I'm gonna be working on this next. And then I'm gonna be having this, and then this. So with Squarespace, it's very cool. It's very easy to do that. Shopify is great too. You do tend to have to use a lot of plugins with Shopify, but it's fantastic for e-commerce. If your main goal is to sell a product, then you would want to seriously look into that. If you're selling a mix of digital, physical, metaphysical products, then you might want to look into something like Squarespace. And I know Wix does that as well. They have a good way of implementing that, but the learning curve on Wix, I think, is too much for a lot of people. I don't know. For me, it was, and I do this all the time, and I just had a really hard time with it. All right, so please jump in with any questions. If anyone has anything, throw them in the chat. I'm going to talk just for a second about link trees, link in bio tools that take you from the social media platform to a place where there's a series of buttons and you just click on the button you want. So I'm going to get into that in a minute. But if anyone has any questions, please feel free to derail me and take me to another land, because I can talk about what I'm talking about and ramble on, or you guys can get in the conversation and tell me what you want to talk about, and I'll go there. I'm going to do another sip. It's getting warm. It's getting warm. Oh, iced coffee, so good. So good. Okay, we got a good question. Here we go. I'm cooking. Colleen, yes, I'm cooking. She's got the Colleen, yes, I'm cooking. Can you see the, the red? I'm starting to match my hat here. Whoo! But I'll be hitting the river soon enough. Soon enough. And if you live in New England, you know what I'm talking about. This is and probably in other parts of the country as well, but like I can go a couple miles down the road here and get into ice water, and then it's going to be so awesome. I just am very excited about that. Yesterday I had some relief with the thunderstorms that rolled through. Oh, that was such a relief yesterday. So I hope that happens again today. But Brett popped up a question about Squarespace. So this is great. So when editing a Squarespace website, is the unedited state still up while editing? It's up to you. It's up to you. So it makes it very easy to have a website. You can edit it and it can be disabled. So there's enabled and disabled. Those are the words I'm going to use. So enabled means it's live on the website. Anyone can see it. They go to your website.com, the page you're working on, and it's visible. Or you can have it disabled. So it's only visible to you when you're in there editing. And you can preview it essentially how it'll look live on the website. It's very close. I don't like to say it's exact, but it's very close to what you'll see live on the website. And you can preview that on a desktop screen, and you can also preview it with a mobile screen. So you can look at both of those while you're building. And as you're building, you can decide whether you want to enable and have it visible, and you can kind of update it as you go. So you add a little bit of content. I do this a lot with my blog posts. I'll add some stuff and then I'll think of something a couple of days later and I'll go in and add it or change it. And so it's very easy to do that. And one recommendation I make here is if you are building something and you're working on a page in the background and you want to wait till it's published or wait till it's done to publish it, which I do a lot of the time. Make sure you have it to where you're happy with it before you publish, because if you enable the page and then it's now living on your website and then you're like, oh shoot, I need to make total new changes to this, then you disable it. That's not good to do. So think of like, once you enable the page, you should have it out there. If something's changed, then change it on the page, but don't remove it, because what we get into trouble there is the excuse me, the URL, the link. It may have been crawled by Google bots and things. And if you have pages that exist and then you take them down, Google doesn't like that, because it may be sending people there because it's a link that they're sharing. So they don't want to have stuff just disappear, so that's basically how it is. But yeah, Squarespace is so great for being able to build something. Card is a little more difficult to go in there and build something behind the scenes and come back to it later, because the nature of it. So once you've published your card site, you can go in there and change and do stuff. But keeping stuff hidden until you're ready, once it's already published, is harder. So you'd have to almost build what I do for that with card is I duplicate the site I'm working on. I duplicate it as a draft, go in and make the changes, and then I can kind of just move it over to the new site. It's not the best workflow, so I don't recommend it, but that it can be done. All right, we got Ani in the chat saying hi. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Happy to see you. And we are so many ideas. Yeah, so many. I'm sorry. That's what I do to people. It's like I just give you too many ideas. But what I want you to do is execute something. And I want you to really try and come up with one thing that you can do. And if it is just putting up a web page with an about me and a link to your social media, like that's something. And then you can go ahead and add your email sign up list. the next day or the next week, where you can start now sending people from social media, sign up for my email list, start getting them excited about doing that. And then the next time you can add your contact form, bite-sized pieces, but try and get those things. And you want to, you also want to make sure you have that offer. So I would say priorities are those 4 things. And Colleen, we got a question here. So my favorite website to use. So it depends on what you're needing. So I do this for clients. I talk to them and they tell me what they need. And that ultimately decides what I use, because I'm not going to force what platforms on them if it's not the right fit. And especially if they're at a point where they're like, okay, we have all these huge ideas that we want to have, but that's going to be in like 2 years. So what are we going to build now so we get you out there now? Because that was been a battle for a lot of people, is just like getting it out and get something out there. Because if you're not out there, if you don't have whatever.com and you don't have something on there that has who you are, where to find you, how to contact you, then you don't exist. You don't exist. You exist in social media, but that's it. So, but in the eyes of search results, a social media profile is a social media profile, but a website is actually something different. It's established. It's a professional, established entity, and linking to your social media profiles connects all that together. It really works so well hand in hand. So to answer your question, what ones my favorite ones to use? So I built my website that you're currently at katebly.com, and I can put that as a banner so that if you want to go to it. And again, this is my website is a work in progress. It's not the gold standard of what you should be doing. I do a lot of experimentation on there. I try a lot of things. I see what works. And I'm also using my website to make videos for my courses. So like some stuff that I talk about that I'm like, oh, you have to have this. I don't have that on there yet because I'm building the course with it. So, but please visit it, because this is a Squarespace site and you can see everything that I'm able to offer on there without sending people away from my website. The only way to get away from my website is the little social media links on top. And then on my live page, I have a link to my YouTube, so you can watch the live videos on YouTube if you want. So there's very few places where I send people away. Even on my blog, the timeline, I embed my social media posts. So people are on my website. They're not going to social media. They can follow me through that. They can, or if they want to, they can go to the social media and look at my posts there. So it's the same approach that social media does. They want people to stay on their platform. So I want people to stay on my website. So it's the same mentality I take on my website. So that's why it looks the way it does. It's a little bit roundabout way of adding that as conversation. Okay, so Squarespace, if you're like dreams are very high and aspirational, if you already have a blog content, if you already have articles written, go with Squarespace. If you already have a course made and you just have to move it over, go with Squarespace. If you already have an online store with some third party, like a pop-up shop of some kind that you use, I would recommend Squarespace or Shopify. If you have nothing and you're like, I just need to have something up there, I would recommend Card, and growing from there. So you have to really assess, like, what do you have? If Colleen, you want to talk about a little bit what you have, if you have nothing, or if you have an email list you already built and you have a presence with that, and or whatever, or you're writing articles on Substack, or where you're at, it will help decide what platform is probably a good fit for you. So it's always a case-by-case basis when I choose to help guide someone to the platform that I think is best for them, because it is different. It's different for everybody. All right, so we're going to be wrapping up here in 5 minutes. I have to get submerged in ice water. I have to get submerged in ice water. The temperature is rising. It's time to get outside and do that. And so drop your questions in. If you have any questions about websites, tying it in with social media, selling. I got into selling a little bit, giving you some ideas, but there's so much more to that. So if there's questions about selling, we'll talk about it, marketing that, and drop your questions in, because I'll talk for another 5 minutes or so, but then I'm going in the river. I'm going in the river. All right, I'll take this banner down. This is fun. This is fun. Thanks so much for coming, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I love seeing people in the chat, chatting, saying hi. And my friend Amy, she's here. Didn't know you were going live. I tuned in earlier. It's yes. I can now relate to my friends in the Midwest that probably deal with this heat a lot more than I do. But I'm glad you popped in and dropped this, because I'm going to be doing this live 1 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. So you can, add it to your calendar if you don't want to miss. I'm going to do this every Thursday. So I want to be able to help you wherever you're stuck, whatever questions come up on the week, and I will help you with that. Because, AIM, I built your Squarespace website like 100 years ago. I mean, that's like ancient times. It's just so wild to think about. So if you have questions about it, I can answer them. And of course, you can always just DM me, because we're friends. But if something comes up, I love doing these streams because people pop in and the questions get ideas that people have that maybe we don't all think about. And, it just brings people together that are kind of on different paths and different places wherever they are. AIM's had a website for 10 years now, almost it's with their photography and amazing photography. And so, that she's in a different place with her website than someone who's just starting out, maybe becoming a content creator, starting to get a following, and, is looking to grow an email list. So she's in a different place, but we can all learn from each other, because it's like we're all have different things that we can all improve, we can make better, we can learn from other people. So I just love to be able to bring all that. Yeah. So focusing more on landscapes than portrait. Yeah, that's me too. I don't do the portrait work as much. Occasionally something falls in my lap and I don't do it, but yeah. And thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. So great to see the familiar faces in here. And I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to go chill out in the river. I will share that photo so you guys, I can confirm that really did happen. I'm not lying. I just have to make sure that you guys know that. And have an awesome day, everybody. And yes, I'll see you next week, same time. I'm streaming everywhere. So wherever you follow me, you'll be able to find the stream. And you should be able to add turn on notifications or something. There's always a way to do the profile thing. I know on Facebook, the next one I have scheduled for the 27th is already an event on my page. So you can RSVP for that. So you get the notification from Facebook. And then also on Instagram, I'll create the live stream event, because I figured out how to do that. The Instagram, it's just such a weird app. Such a weird app. So I did figure that out. So I'm learning. And even though I was on Instagram when it first came out, I feel like it's been around forever and I still don't understand how it works. Wild. And also on YouTube, my YouTube channel. If you use YouTube, go over to my YouTube, search my name, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications so you get the live streams. I put out random videos on there, vlogs and stuff, so you can kind of see what I'm up to. And then also on X, I'm on X all the time. It's like where I hang out. So if you know, it's so much easier to just like hang out and with people on that platform. But join me wherever you're finding this video, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much. Have a great day.